Today we're breaking down everyone's favorite movements, crawling. We've got a lot of different variations on crawling. We can have a lot of fun with this movement. Today we'll just focus on the standard crawl. So, if you haven't crawled yet, it looks like this. Start position, the crawl position, lift the knees, and then taking steps forward, opposite hand and foot. We can go forward, we can go backwards. It looks really easy, but if you've tried it for yourself, you know that it's not necessarily the case. So today we're going to give you some tips on how to progress, how to get better at crawling, make this movement more efficient. So let's start with the first progression. Step one is just establishing a good crawl position. Starting out on hands and knees, and you want to think about keeping your spine nice and long. No rounded backs, but allow your lower back to create a little bit of an arch, and thinking length from your tailbone to the crown of your head. The shoulders are drawn down the back away from the ears, and the arms are locked out strong. We want to make sure that the elbows aren't bent, but we're going through this corkscrew that we always talk about, rotating the pits of the elbows forward. And as always, the hands are positioned right under the shoulders. We don't want the hands walked up too far in front. With the hips, again, we've got a nice little curve in the lower back, and we're making sure that the hips are right over the knees. We'll tuck the toes and then just lift the knees off the ground 2 inches. We don't want to start to float up too high here. We'll begin to lose the posture. Arms are extended, and just let those knees hover above the ground while you're maintaining a nice long spine. So if you find crawling very challenging, you might just stay in this position and work on building some strength in the crawl position before you consider adding movement. The second progression we'll talk about, once we've got the crawl position established very strong, we can start to remove our points of support. Let's start with the hands, just marching the hands in place. As we do this, we're making sure that there's not too much weight shifting from side to side. The core stays strong, and we're just going from 4 points of support on the ground to 3. Relax there. We can do the same thing with the legs. Establish the crawl position. Kick one leg back, and then the other. Same thing, we're looking to make sure that there's not a lot of weight shifting here. If you feel confident with that progression, we will challenge you a little bit more by picking up opposite hand and foot. Establish a good crawl position, pick up right hand, left foot, and balance, and then switch. Going from 4 points of support to 2 points of support, going to be very challenging for the standing arm. A lot of work for the shoulder and a lot of work for the core as well to make sure that you keep that form. We're looking to make sure that the crawl position that you established in the beginning doesn't break down because you start removing limbs or moving around. So that's your challenge, making sure you're keeping that long spine that we talked about. Thinking, again, length from the crown of your head down to your tailbone, maintaining a little bit of an arch in the lower back. We can start to add a little bit more movement in the next progression. Crawl position. We're going to pick up opposite hand and foot and just take a step forward and then a step back. Again, you're really focusing, maintaining that posture again, and then also trying to have the hand and the foot contact the ground at the same time. Forward, as the hand and foot come down, it's a soft landing. You're in control of that movement. And then switch sides. If you've made it that far, you're ready to put all the pieces together and just start the standard foot hand crawl. Once again, setup is everything. Good start position is going to make this efficient, fluid, and make sure that everything is in the right balance. Come up, step soft, and alternate sides. You'll find that going backwards in that crawl is a little bit of a different sensation, maybe a little bit more demanding for you. The important part is that you're choosing the right progression for you. This won't necessarily be a movement that you can do right off the bat correctly and efficiently. So use the steps that we've shown you today to build up the strength, to make your crawl look fluid, smooth, with good posture. Whether it be starting just in the crawl position, starting to move the limbs around, or starting to work with taking one step at a time, gradually shifting body weight. To progress things a little bit more, we'll add one extra drill today. We'll use the yoga brick, and we'll give you a little bit more of a challenge. The brick is placed in the small of the back. You're going to come up into the crawl position, and as you crawl, you're going to keep this brick in place. Make sure it stays balanced. So if you're experiencing a lot of weight shift side to side, the brick is going to fall right off. Your challenge is going to be keep it right in place. As once again, you're just choosing the progression that's right for you. I want you to make sure that you're focused on breathing. Whichever position you choose, if it's just standing in place in the crawl position or crawling for distance, you want to make sure that you're using your breath, you're breathing, and you're relaxing. Why do we crawl? Well, we get all the benefits of a plank position and then some. We're adding an element of balance, coordination, and I think it's a little bit more fun as well. So if you start with the right progression, hopefully you'll learn to love crawling as much as I do, and you'll at least start to develop more efficiency, and you're really going to see a lot of carryover and improvement into the rest of the movement.